Now, Calvinism has a couple key things. Number one, predestination. This is the answer to almost any question about Calvinism. Predestination. Predestination is this idea that all people's destinies are already determined. Right? So our destiny, whether we go to heaven or hell, has been predetermined by God. So, what does this mean? Well, Calvin looks at the world and he sees that most people are bad and most people are evil and most people are doing all this stuff. And so he says most people are not predestined to go to heaven. There are the elect. The elect are those people that can resist sin. The elect are those people that resist temptation. They do not give in. The elect are people that are hardworking. They're not lazy. They're not slothful. They don't, eat debaucherously or live debaucherous lives. They are people that can resist temptation. That is the elect. And so we can see who is going to heaven based on what happens here on earth. We know who the elect, well, we know some idea. We don't know for sure. But we know more or less, some idea of the elect. A second aspect of Calvinism that's key, besides this notion of predestination, is what we call presbyteries. And this is the root of the word Presbyterian, which is a church sect, a branch of Calvinism in Scotland that came to America. Presbyteries say that the leadership in the church is made up of an elected council. People in their churches get to vote on who leads the churches. Okay? Presbytery means council. And so the people in churches will elect their leaders. And so once again, this goes along with that idea. Who are they going to be electing? The elect. They're going to be electing people that are living good lives, that are clearly heaven-bound. Another key aspect of Calvinism is his belief that the church should influence the state. Now, if we go back to Lutheranism, we saw that the state influences the church. The northern princes are the ones that decide to have Lutheran beliefs. And all the areas where Lutheranism spreads are those areas where the political authorities have adopted the Lutheran beliefs. So, in Lutheranism, the political order has control over the spiritual church. The freedom of a Christian happens within the spiritual realm. It doesn't happen in politics. Luther emphasizes, especially after the Peasant Rebellion, that people should follow the political authority. But Calvinism suggests that the political authority needs to follow the church. In Geneva, he creates a theocracy. A theocracy is government by a religious sect, right? A theocracy, the root by God, right? So theology, the study of God, theocracy, government by God. And so in Geneva, he creates this ideal community where the state will be instituting religious laws. Okay? And so the state will ban gambling, the state will ban prostitution, the state will, limit, processions and celebrations and drunkenness and all sorts of things. Now, historically, these were separate. Church was separate from state, right? The old medieval motto was, the emperor was defend the church, but the church controlled spirituality and the politics was separate. But Calvin argues that basically the church should control the state. So he creates in Geneva this ideal state. Now Calvinism spreads for two reasons. A, the model of Geneva, Calvinist reformers can go there, see what it's like, and then replicate his ideas elsewhere because they can go to a place and live in a place and learn what Calvinism is about. So the model of Geneva allows it to spread. And B, Calvinism spreads because Calvin writes his book, The Institutes of the Christian Religion. And the Institutes of the Christian Religion is basically a set of beliefs for his new faith, or for his new denomination. And so this set of beliefs is spread. It's printed up and spread throughout Europe. And so we'll see Calvinist reformers that will follow this guidebook about what he codifies the beliefs of his Protestant denomination so that other people can follow it. So we'll see Calvinist followers in the Netherlands, the Dutch Reformed Church, or the Dutch Calvinists. We'll see Calvinist followers in France, the Huguenots. We'll see Calvinist followers in Scotland, called the Presbyterians. And we'll see Calvinist followers in England, called the Anglicans. Called the Puritans. The Puritans are the Calvinists in England. Okay, besides Calvinism, there's also another group of even more radicals known as the Anabaptists. The Anabaptists are, well, basically the word means rebaptized, to rebaptize people. They're people that reject infant baptism, say adults should be baptized. Many Anabaptists want even more dramatic societal change. So they, for example, most famously, the Commune at Munster, where the Anabaptists who take over Munster, they end private property, allow polygamy, and declare the reign of saints, and all sorts of interesting stuff. So they actually take over the city in the Holy Roman Empire known as Munster. Now the Anabaptists represent a threat to the traditional order, and so they're brutally, brutally suppressed. Right? The leaders of the Commune at Munster are killed. And so Anabaptism doesn't survive, but it doesn't survive as much nearly as Calvinism and Lutheranism does. So what's the difference? Lutheranism survives because of political support, similar to the Anglican Church or the Church of England in England. Political authorities support it. Calvinism survives because a couple of reasons. Calvin creates a model that can be replicated elsewhere. B, the church is full. Calvinists, many Calvinist followers are very fervent because they know that they need to be the elect in order to get to heaven, and so they're very fervent in their beliefs. And C, many people in the emerging middle class of Europe are Calvinists. They embrace its sort of strict message about working hard, about doing well in this world, about wealth not as something that should be condemned, but as wealth as a sign that you're part of the elect by God. Many middle class embrace Calvinism, and so therefore, unlike Anabaptism, which is mainly supported by these poorer groups and peasants, Calvinism will have middle class support, and therefore will be popular in many cities like in the Netherlands.